bottom line is, what do you see with the Kepha thing when he walked on the water? He kept his eyes on Yeshua. As long as he kept his eyes on the goal. There's a second thing. We all think of that part. But the second thing is this. There's a very well-known phenomenon, and it happens. There's a lot of studies on the examples of this, where a person can find themselves caught up in a moment and doing things they don't normally are able to do until their brain goes, wait a minute, I'm not good at this, or I'm not able to do this. There was a story about a guy who was paired up, and it was a local golf pro. And he had to play in an open, so he was able to play even though he wasn't one of the professionals. And he ended up making it to like the bigger day at the end there, and he's paired up with one of the best players in the world. And then, all of a sudden one of his friends was like, look at you, you're playing with so-and-so. I mean, you're not that good or whatever. Whatever it is, somehow his brain was like, it was incongruent to think he was on that level. Guess what? He played awful that day to get to his level of where his mind was. Okay? And so Peter focused on Yeshua, he's walking on the water. But at some point, not only did he take his eyes off Yeshua, he thought to himself like, I can't do this. I'm not able to walk on water. What am I doing? Okay? So we have to be careful about how our thoughts do those kind of things. Keep our eye on the prize, but also take the encouragement that the prize is being offered to you because you have everything you need to get there. Let me rephrase that. You have everything available that you need. You don't necessarily have it in yourself, like you trying to fix everything yourself, okay? All of you need therapy. You do. Every one of us has lived in this screwed up world. But see, a lot of you will never go get the therapy. You'll never come and talk because you don't want to understand how emotionally arrested you are in your development. You don't want to understand how much your emotions have been wrongly proportion, like where you're over the top in some areas, under in other areas, because of the way you were raised and culturally and in home and your parenting and your family members and the work experience, whatever brought you to whatever age you're at, you've gotten all kinds of stuff that has molded you incorrectly in your growth emotionally. And then we wonder why we struggle with each other. I mean, I've got people calling me up and they're crying over things. What are you upset about? Well, they can't help themselves. That's the right reaction from where they came from. And there are other people not upset about things they should be upset about. Well, that's because of where they came from. I'm like, why doesn't that bother you? I don't know, it doesn't bother me. Okay? So we all need to finally go out there and get some help from some, it doesn't have to be professional, but just get somebody who can look at you from the outside and help you sort through, because there's a lot of that stuff is also why we're not growing. Because, you've left churches before, you've left groups before, and guess what you brought every time with you? You. You got to work on changing you, okay? And it's not just a thought process enough. You have to have somebody, the fivefold guys, some of those guys can help you work through that stuff that's like that baggage, that stuff that's sitting on top of your growth and hampering your growth so you can let some of that stuff go, And I've had to do that with a lot of people, and when I've done it with them, I had to say, that's happening again, that thing we talked about, we need to, and then the more that they start to recognize it, the more they start needing me less and seeing it themselves. You guys have seen that, okay? Where I know what some of their issues are, and then I'll start saying, see, that's happening again, okay? And they know, and it's different for him and for her, they have their own things, but each of us has all that, so we all need to get to that place where we can stand up and say, hi, my name is so-and-so, I'm a Hebrew roots, Messianic, whatever, and I'm screwed up and don't know as much as I think I know. Okay? Okay? I need help. Okay? But see, are you willing to get any help? All right? And so, because then when you get through it, it brings the peaceable fruit. If you get through it. And believe me, sometimes the help isn't very peaceable. Ask him for the last couple of days. But he got through it and that didn't run away. All right? Some of you had similar experiences. If you get through it and don't run away, it brings good fruit. Some of you, I've done not even the fraction that I gave to some of these other guys, and you all folded like a deck of cards and just, like a house of cards, boom, and ran away. Or decided you'll never talk to me again because you don't want to hear straight, strong, what you might need. Because I might hurt your feelings. Well, your feelings are the problem. And if you ask the people I've counseled with, you'll know that I'm not all that concerned about your feelings. I'm concerned about you feeling correctly about things, but not your feelings, okay? Because sometimes those feelings, some of you need to just you don't realize you got your feelings all hanging out. That's embarrassing. Go pick them up and tuck them in, I mean, some of you like are all exposed, and pick that all up and put it in your pocket or something. You're dragging those feelings out in public. No wonder people are stepping on them. Okay? You're stepping on your feelings because you got them all dragging all over the place. Don't you have any modesty? Goodness, people. Stuff is supposed to be inside, should stay inside. Stuff outside should be outside. Put that stuff back in. Okay? I mean, we got to be real, right? Okay. Amen. All right, so with that little piece of humor, some of you are thinking about your clothing choices for next week to make sure you're not leaving any feelings hanging out. Some of you are going to be carrying large bags with you for the feelings to be carried in, so they don't just drag on the floor.